Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today it's the tale of two legal pad holders. This legal pad has a legal pad in it that is not replaceable. It's permanently in there. This legal pad has a legal pad in it that is replaceable, but it wasn't large enough for a pen. And those were the two things you guys asked me mostly about, is could I make one with a pen that could be replaced? So we're gonna morph these guys together in today's video. Okay, you're gonna need a piece of chipboard. Now, I suggest using a piece of chipboard that is not your good stuff. Save your good stuff for your mini albums. Use something like cereal box or recycled cardboard for this. It's gonna get covered, it won't be seen, and so there's no reason to use the good stuff. This guy is 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. So we're gonna start there and we're gonna cover it. Now I'm gonna be doing this one in particular in Lunch Bag from Brutus Monroe. I think this is really pretty. So this is gonna be the cover for my chipboard. We made notes when we cut it. So this one is 8 1/4 by 10 1/4, and we're gonna score it. Now we're gonna score it a little bit strange, and you'll see what I mean, okay? To make this work, I kind of cheated the system a little bit. We're gonna score this one on the 10 1/4 side at 1 1/2, and then at 9 3/4, all right? So you're gonna have an 1 1/2 tab up here and a 1/2 inch at the bottom. Now we're gonna turn it to the 8 1/4 side, and on this side we're gonna score 1 1/2, and then on this side we're gonna score 9 3/4. And there's a method to my madness, but it's better if I just show you than try to explain it, okay? So get your scissors out and let's make some cuts. The first cut we're gonna make is right down here in the bottom right corner where our score lines cross over. We're gonna miter this corner. Now I wanna leave myself some excess. I don't wanna go all the way to the score mark. You see how I left a little bit there past the little score mark crossover? You wanna do that. You'll see why in a few minutes. Now up here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut away, and you can even cut this one at an angle on this side of the score mark, but this section just needs to go away. So I'm going to cut it on the outside of the score line, which is rare for me. I usually cut the score line away, but I think we can use that little bit of excess, so I'm leaving the score line on. Same thing over here. Leave the score line, so cut to the outside of the score line, okay? And then here, you can cut an angle to take some of the bulk out. I think I'm going to. I didn't in the one we did Tuesday night, but I think it might help a little bit. So let me show you what we're working with. So that's what our top is looking like. Here's our bottom. We need to do one more, and we want to do it just like this one up here, okay? So I'm going to do a little bit of an angle just to take some of the bulk out. And then I'm going to angle cut this guy just a little bit. So this is a little different than we normally do, but I'm gonna leave this here for a second in case you wanna take a screenshot or something, but that is what that will look like, all right? Now let's go ahead and start doing all our folds and creases. So this is just really to tell me where to put my chipboard piece, but I wanna go ahead and fold and crease this. Wow, this chipboard, this cardstock is practically chipboard. It is super thick. Brutus Monroe's cardstock is really, really rich and thick. I love it. All right, so we're gonna turn this one over here. And you'll be thinking, why do you have these extra long pieces? Well, I don't want the chipboard to show underneath them, but I also don't want to waste a whole sheet of chipboard. So this is, a whole sheet of cardstock. So here's how we're going to avoid that. So what we're going to do now is glue this guy inside, and I'm going to start by just adding some art glitter glue to the back of this chipboard, just like so. This is just to tack it in place. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm gonna place this inside of all our little score marks here. That lined up really well. If it doesn't line up perfectly, don't worry. We're gonna work this around in just a second. Now what I wanna do is go to sticky tape. I find this is better with the sticky tape. So I'm gonna bring out my sticky tape and my little block to cut it with. You know, that's what I love to cut it with. And find the end, here it is. And we're just gonna place this on. Now this is all gonna get covered again, so there'll be another layer of adhesive for this. So don't stress too much about it, like getting it perfect, but just get it where we can turn these guys over onto the chipboard. So now what I'm gonna do is release the backing paper from my double-sided tape, and I'm gonna work this over. Now again, there's some thickness here, and you're gonna have to work this in, but what I like to do is just kind of use my fingers and the heat of my hand, and see how I just kind of cleanly work that over. Isn't that nice? Just kind of do it like that. Just take your time on these. The edge will show, the part in the middle won't, but the edge will. So the more time you take on that, the better. These here are gonna be much easier. You got a lot more to work with, so just turn these over and get them stuck down to your chipboard. Now let me show you right here. Do you see how my chipboard is hanging over just a little bit? You can just take your scissors and kind of come at an angle to the side and trim that away. That's the kind of stuff that'll really give you a really nice kind of professional look, if you want to say professional, because I don't know if you would make these professionally, but also remember how I told you to leave that little ease? This one did better. Let me show you what we want to avoid. Can you see that little bit of chipboard showing right there? I did not leave enough excess on this one so it showed, but we did good on this one, so we did better, all right? So now we wanna make the pin holder that's gonna attach here. So let me show you how we're gonna do that. And this is super easy, okay? It's probably easier than you even realize. You're gonna take a piece that is 6 3/4 by 8 1/4, and we're gonna do some scoring. We're gonna score it 1/2 inch, at 1 inch, and at 1 1/2. That's all we've got to do to this piece, all right? Now we're gonna make that little holder. So what I want you to do is to take this piece and that center score line, I want you to fold it down and crease this guy. Do you notice that we made notes of what our pieces are? If you're making a lot of these, like if you're trying to assembly line them, it's a good idea to go ahead and do your cutting and just mark what they are. It'll really save you some time. All right, so you've got this guy folded. Now I want you to go to your ruler or use your cutting mat, either one, and lay this down and make a mark at 2 inches and at 3 inches. This is just a reference mark. So just like that, little reference mark. And now I want you to take your scissors and we're gonna cut through both layers, okay? We're gonna cut on our reference mark to our score line and to our score line. So we're gonna go just like this, snip all the way down and snip all the way to that score mark, okay? Now, this is the only thing, this is it. This holds your pen. It seems harder than it really is, but it's not. Now what I wanna do is I wanna fold this score line as well. So I'm gonna push this back, crease this down, and then this. And now what we wanna do, on our pen holder, we want this section we cut to face up and this to go down. So I'm gonna turn this one down, okay? And then I'm gonna push this one out. So just using my fingers behind it to work that into happening. So that first score line, we don't actually fold it, but it does give us this little bend up, okay? And when we decorate, we'll hide that score line. So you don't need to fold it or crease it, just this one and these here for the mechanism. Isn't that cool how that works? Okay, now let me show you. This piece, this is your piece we covered. These heavier wrap over pieces are your left and your top, and this is gonna get glued to the left-hand side. All right, so I'm just gonna use art glitter glue here. Again, sticky tape will work just fine. And you wanna glue everything down, not that pin holder, leave that pin part popped out. And put your glue back here. Now the reason, this is gonna show you why I did that funny wraparound. Let me place this down. You just wanna line this up to the edge. Yeah, I gave you a little bit of wiggle room in this design too, so this doesn't have to be super, super perfect, but do your best to get it to the edge. That feels good. Okay, so let me show you. When I open this up, do you see, close this down a little bit, you see behind the pen holder? If you don't get this piece in, that's gonna show as raw chipboard, and you might even have a little bit showing here as raw chipboard. So it's best to have that little wraparound. At the top, it's gonna work with our pocket. I'll show you that next. So the pocket that's gonna hold our legal pad in and let us replace our legal pad is 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. All these measurements, by the way, are in the description as well as on the blog post that we write about this project. So what I want you to do is I want you to score 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Now, do you see how I had to do that and I kind of had to hold it funny? A lot of times I'll just come 1/2 inch in from the edge over here and score. And then I'm gonna turn this and do 1/2 inch over here. Does that make sense? Because that way I'm not fighting that tiny little bit over here. The top does not need anything because it is where our pocket is gonna be, or where our pad is gonna come in from the top. These, we wanna do what we did earlier. We want to miter these corners. This time you can get a little closer to that center score because it's not gonna need to wrap around chipboard. It's just gonna close up on itself. So there's that. And now, sticky tape. I say sticky tape. I may not sticky tape this one, and I'll tell you why. If you use sticky tape, placing this pocket in, it's a one and done thing. You get one shot to get it in where you want it. And although art glitter glue doesn't give us like a ton of wiggle room, I do get a little more wiggle room with art glitter glue. So I think I'm gonna put this one in with the glue, but if you wanna use your sticky tape, go right ahead. This would be a good spot. Also, let me show you this, just in case this bothers you. Do you see how my points are a little bit messy here? If that bothers you, you can trim those away. Just clean that up. Let me see how it looks on the front. It's really not that bad. But if you want to trim that away, just do a little snip there and get rid of that just to clean that up. And this side is really not bad at all. Probably don't even have to do it, but there we go. All right, now I do need to erase this because I folded this the opposite way. No big deal. You really don't have to erase that if you're going to cover it with paper. I didn't cover my last one because it was kind of hidden, but you might want to. Okay, so where does this guy go? Let me show you. We're going to open this one out, okay? I do have to erase that one as well. This is going to go right here. Do you see how it fits just on the other side of that little piece? And this is where your legal pad will go. So what we're going to do is art glitter glue this in. One thing I do find important is when you're putting this guy in, at the bottom where this overlaps, make sure this is over the top of the side panels. If it's not, sometimes the legal pad will catch on it, and you don't want that to happen. So just make sure the bottom is overlapped to the sides, and I'm just going to lay this in and try to get it pretty straight and even. And then what you can do, because this is super thick, is take your bone folder and do some burnishing. Just get that to adhere down really well. Now this is super easy to do. I mean, we're pretty much done here. We're ready to put the pad in and start decorating. All right, so pen holder, legal pad holder. Let me show you how the legal pad fits in. These legal pads I picked up at Sam's, and you can get them anywhere, but they had a big old pack of them. These are 5 by 8, so I'm going to tell you the size. Some of them are different, so just pay attention to that. And these are about 1/4 inch thick. And so what I did was I designed this so this would slide into this pocket like this, and also that 1/2 inch at the top allows this guy to sink down into our pocket and fit just right. Do you see that? So now you can change your legal pad out as you see fit. Let's decorate the front. So piece number 1 for me, by the way, this is this paper I'm using is from Maymay, and it's called Grandma's Attic, and it's absolutely gorgeous. These would make perfect gifts. Somebody asked me on the live show last night who we would gift these to. Well, I gotta be honest, I don't know anybody that doesn't need a notepad. You know, teachers, moms, dads, neighbors, preachers, teachers, Sunday school teachers, you name it. I don't know anybody who couldn't use this as a gift. I think this would be a very sweet gift that you could really personalize for who it's for. Do it, you know, in a theme that they love. Like, I've had people send them to me. They're like weenie dog theme. I think that's so cute. Doing something that the person would really, really like. Now, this little strip is 3/8 by 8. Okay, so 3/8 inches by 8. And I'm going to put this little strip on the pen holder side. I like to decorate that as well because I think that'll be cute. Now, if you really want to spoil somebody, I'm going to tell you this. We discovered this on the live show. There are things called pen snobs. We have several of them in our office. And after the live show on Tuesday night, I discovered we have a lot more of them as viewers as well. Because we did a little poll, and a lot of people said they were pen snobs. And what that means is they have a favorite pen. If you really want to spoil somebody, find out what their favorite pen is and put that in here. That would be very, very kind. Okay, I also have these pieces cut that are going to lay here to hide, or not hide, but decorate this up. I just think this will be cute, and it's a great way to add a little bit of calico pattern. I think it's cute to add some different colors here and there. So we've cut these to kind of sink in. By the way, all these measurements that we have right here will be on in the description and on the blog post for you. Okay, so this little piece is 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch, and I just think it'll be cute wrapped right here. So it's just a little square folded in half, and then I just think it'll dress up our pen holder a little bit, just to be cute. You could do anything you want. Get as creative as you like. Just a little something there. All right, let me show you another way to get creative. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm a pen snob. These are my favorite pens, the RSVP. I really love the fine, but I'll take the medium as well. So I want to show you what you can do with these. First, you'll want to clean this little sticker off, but it does take a little bit of like alcohol to get the sticky off, so we'll do that later. But next, what you can do is you can untwist this end, and it leaves you with this clear cylinder here. You can take a piece of your coordinating cardstock. This one is 1 inch by 3 1/8, and that is because I want it to cover pretty much the whole inside there. But here's the thing, it's cardstock, so it doesn't roll easy. So what I like to do is really work the fibers of the paper. And I know this is going in the opposite direction of how I'm going to turn it, but first I just want to really soften this guy up all the way around. So I'm just going to work it on the edge of my ruler and get it to really soften up. Even if this starts to get a little ragged as you're doing this, it won't show in the pen holder. You can also take this to the edge of your table and roll it along the edge of your table like that. That will really help. Okay, so I've worked it and worked it. Now I'm gonna roll it, and I need to roll it pretty thin. And I do wanna tell you, this is forgiving. When this gets into the little pen case, it's very forgiving because the little pen case kind of has a little reflective quality to it. So it really will just show the pattern. But roll it up super, super tight, or at least tight enough to get into your pen case. Okay, from experience, something I wanna tell you. Pay attention to your writing on your pen and put the crease or the seam to the back, because when you put this into your pen holder, you're going to want to put the pen facing that way, and it just looks better like that. So put the little crease to your paper in the back, put your pen back in, or your little ink nib, and then put the lid back on. So look at our custom pen. It's so cute. And this way we can have it facing forward like that, and then slide it into the little pen holder here. And look how good that is. Looks really cute. Okay, now let's make a pocket for the inside. So I want to add a pocket right here. So I've cut a couple pieces, and I'll show you what we're gonna do. For this pocket, this piece is 6 1/4 by 4, and we're gonna do that 1/2 inch deal again. I'm gonna score it 1/2 inch on 3 sides because it's a pocket, just like this. And we're gonna do the miter corners and turn these in. Same thing here, turn your sides in first, then turn the base up, and that way those sides will be underneath the bottom, and anything you slide in and out will slide in easily. All right, so we're gonna add glue and put this into our book. You'll notice I took the pen out to do this. I needed this to lay a little bit flatter than it was. So I'm gonna add some art glitter glue. Again, sticky tape would work just fine here. And then this is gonna go right into the bottom corner, and it will line up at your fold. You can glue this on earlier if you want to. I just want to do it kind of in order of how you're building it. And this works just fine. And then we can close this over and crease it down really nice, just like so. Now let's cover it with a piece of cardstock to make it pretty. And this piece will go right here just to make it pretty. Can you see making up a bunch of these? This is a great stash buster. This is something you can make up in all different themes to use some cardstock that you just have laying around, and you will always have a gift ready for somebody. So I'm gonna decorate the front of this, but I'm gonna use the cut-aparts that came with this pack, or that coordinate with this pack of paper. I'm gonna use 2 frames. I'm gonna use these 2 guys right here, the blue one and the white one. And I just went through and gathered up a bunch of options to put on the front. Now, here's the thing. I love dimension. I love decorating with dimension, and I think dimension makes things look incredible. The problem is this. If I'm giving this to someone as a gift and they're gonna put it in a purse or a backpack or something like that, you don't really want to put dimension on the front, because when they slide it into a pocket, it's just going to rip the pretties off. It will just catch and go. This one, in my opinion, is more of a desk sitter. Like, I wouldn't necessarily put this guy in a backpack or something. I would probably use my other legal pad for that, because of how this has this kind of neat desk sitting situation. So I'm going to pop some of this up. I think this will be fine. These I'm going to glue straight down, just like this. I have these 2 Edison bulbs. I think they'll be pretty if I have one here and then one a little bit higher, just like this, or you could do them vice versa, but I'm gonna put those there like that. I happen to have a brown pen, which I think this will be perfect. I'm just gonna do a string up to the top. You can use your ruler if you need to. I probably should have. I'm a little shaky today, so the ruler would not have hurt to make that a little straighter. But Edison bulb cords kind of have a little texture to them anyway, so that kind of does that. All right, now what I'm gonna do is work my way down in texture. Do you see how this one's large? I want to lay this out here, and I just have these little pieces that I'm just going to decorate with. So I'm going to do that really quick and let you watch, and then we'll get back together. All right, one more piece. Here's the front, nice and simple, ready to go. Let's cover this guy up. My friend Terrence last night reminded me, and you don't have to do this, you can. Just know this piece is gonna go where the legal pad goes. So this one, you won't be replacing. I'm gonna glue it straight down. If you wanna do it with a temporary adhesive or something like that, go ahead. I don't really see a need. I think we can just replace it with our next album or with our next legal pad. So I'm gonna place this on here. I like those stripes, I think they're pretty. Isn't that nice? You could do it at the top as well. I think my legal pad looks pretty good. I'm gonna leave it like that. And then this is a great gift to give to somebody, including yourself, to make for your desk. What a great place to keep your craft project ideas, your Christmas project ideas, mini album ideas, whatever it is that you do, or to make as gifts. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was super fun to do. Kind of fun to kind of meld the two worlds together of the original legal pad, the new legal pad, and now here's the best of both worlds, right? All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. Every little subscriber helps because I'm trying to reach my big 400,000 subscriber goal. And if you like this video, thumbs it up. Let me know and let others on YouTube know that this is a video they should watch. Thanks so much for being here. And until next time, bye now.